Um, so yeah,
Because
my question is, so I'm looking at Hull at the moment, and there's a lot of contractor houses set up there, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not seeing a lot of forward bookings, but I can see from looking at the bookings, previous bookings from last year from AirDNA data, because I bought the data. It's telling me that that property was occupied by 65%, some 68%, some, right? So I can see that the last year they were booked from according to what AirDNA says, and they just take the data from Airbnb and just anything that's block booked in there, whether the booking came through Airbnb or not, as long as it's like the calendar has been blocked in there, they classify that as booking. So according to them, that property was 68% occupied,
yeah,
and the prices look really good, but I haven't got any forward
60,
bookings.
68% is not enough, I think, because
Okay.
you're going to be going. So let's say that you buy one of these places in Hull. If you start to get a similar amount of bookings to those guys, well, the idea if they're only at 68% now, then if you start to get similar amounts to them, then
Mm-hmm.
you're all going to be down at about 65 or something now. Because
Mm-hmm.
then if more and more people come in, you'll all drop down to 64, 63. Like the more people enter there,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not getting forward bookings, then in my mind, the people who are already there are going to start getting spread out between you.
Sure.
And that's before you start considering the fact that a lot of these people will be rebooking directly with the very places who you're
They've
saying have
been,
68% at the moment, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, when you're doing your deal analyzer, you need to
Mm-hmm.
be for one thing, setting up an SA, you are using all the numbers that you use, you're basically imagining that you make about £1,000, sorry, £100 a month using 70% occupancy. So if you're already not hitting that, I wouldn't go through with it.
Yeah.
If you're if your if your comparables don't have forward bookings, then that means that a lot of the bookings that you would be getting again, were you to set up there, will be 2 weeks within about 2 weeks before the property is actually rented. Right, about
Mm-hmm.
half of your bookings come in those 2 weeks before your property is rented. So
Yeah.
I think I would still avoid it. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would I would still avoid it. I know I would because if you haven't got forward bookings, it doesn't matter what these other guys have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say that Hull got 68% occupancy in the past, but now really what's happened is that the what the construction project has done. Maybe there was a train line there or something like that. Maybe there was something
Mm-hmm.
important about HS2 that they've moved on from now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
I,
assume that the year is going to be the same. Now,
yeah. Yeah.
the reason that you plan around about 70% and you make sure that you break even at 50% is to really, really bulletproof the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're running this place right, I think that 90% is really what you will be getting, maybe north of 80.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be looking to put yourself into a market where the average is 68 because that's not good enough.
Yeah, I guess this deal for me wasn't because I was looking at Hull as an area. It's just that I knew somebody who has 8 properties in Hull,
Yeah.
and he's considering converting them to SA, and I wouldn't be putting any, it wouldn't be any huge risk because the rent would be very cheap, and it would be the numbers would work out a little bit better. So I was just figuring out how
Mm.
much, whether, for example, like someone presents you a deal, you got to check it out. Is it the right deal or not? Because even though it might not fit the rules, the deal might be still good enough to be able
He's
to
not going to
deliver
lose
it.
anything by making an SA for 6 months or whatever.
Yeah,
He really should do
yeah,
that. I'm just not saying that he should count on it making the sort of numbers that we expect.
exactly. So we're just going for the high yield properties, and I think that's why this the training and the rules are so strict, is because we're looking at that top, finding that five
Yeah,
percent of properties in the UK that can deliver us this amount of money.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I mean, the idea is that you're deselecting, that you are taking from a massive pool and getting down to the absolute best.
yeah.
Because if you if it takes you 5 or 6, or let's say it takes you 10 hours to find one good SA property, let's say it takes you 20 hours to find one good SA property,
Yeah.
then that is 20 hours used well. If you spend 10 hours or 5 hours or whatever, and you say, God, look, I'm just going to get the best one that I found. I know it doesn't meet the rules, but it's going to be the best one I found. If you go and take that one, not only are you wasting those 10 hours, you're going to be wasting all the hours that you spent making the money that you're now buying it with, and you're going to spend all the hours in the future that you're going to spend like managing this place.
Yeah.
You're also going to be spending hours in essentially opportunity costs, if you like, because the money that you should be getting from an SA property, the difference between that and the money that you're going to be getting from this substandard one, you're going to be having to make up that difference somehow as well. So you lose a hell of a lot more time if you just don't think about it in the long term. If you just think about like, you know, I'm sick of it. It's been a week, and I haven't found a good one. I'm going to leave it. If that's your attitude, then like you are going to waste those hours. But keep with it, and you'll use them right.
My question, the reason, obviously, I'm working with a landlord that has a lot of properties in different areas, right, of the UK. So he's got a challenge that he wants to make as much money as he can. I therefore am going in to solve his challenge, which is what do we do with these properties? And I want to be able to forecast how, you know, how much money I'm going to make from these properties as accurately as I can, and I'm trying to build a business around him where he's giving the properties to me. I'm creating a management company, and I'm looking at this in a really different angle. I'm still looking for those gems and those areas that meet the rules, and that's what I'm trying to work out right now. But also, when an opportunity comes to your door and you can look at it, it's like these guys have the properties, they're buying them, they're going to need someone to manage them. Therefore, I go in there, we work out a deal where the deal I don't have to put any of my money on, and I just put in my time in, and I'm setting up a system that is going to manage, theoretically starting to already do the service accommodation thing. And then when I'm finding these gems, they're still going to be put in the same system. So I'm trying to build a system of managing properties right now. And I'm still trying to figure out to find the goldmine areas. But while I'm waiting for those areas, I've actually got a few properties I'm going to start managing and setting up and trialing them out and see if they work, right? And instead of doing the 8 ones that he's got there, we're going to try with 1 or 2, right? And then we'll see how they go. And if they don't perform as well, we tried them, they didn't work because the properties are there. I don't have to put any of my own money, but I'm putting my time, and that means I'm building a system.
You're going to be doing it with the best out of those 8 as well, aren't you? Right? Like you're going to be choosing. Are the best out of those 8 anywhere in Hull, or are they in like Leeds, where you've been talking about? Where are they?
They're everywhere. They're at Leeds, Hull. No, these 8 are just in Hull.
They're just in Hull, right?
Just in Hull, yeah. And the other ones there's some in Leeds, there's some in Liverpool. In fact, in your area that you've been looking at, I saw your post. They're very near there.
I might have a look at them then.
But they're under contract at the moment, so all these properties are under contract, so I can't really share them. But they're when I say under contract, they're being purchased as we speak. So this is where I'm at. And also some of the properties were in Devon as well, and I'm trying to figure out and use the rules, and they don't really fit because I'm not finding again that many forward bookings on properties. So
if you're not finding it, then there's no trouble in just calling it an SA for a bit so this guy can take advantage of CA, and like that would be his reason for doing it. And if you basically show him how to turn them into SAs for 6 months so he can claim CA and so that he can also avoid Section 24 for a bit, then any that I would just do that for the lot, and then any that continue to work, keep them on. The others, turn them back to buy-to-lets. That's fine, and then just ask for 15% or whatever this guy has saved. 15-20%, like that seems like a good deal to me, because if you
totally. So that's kind of where I'm coming to this, into trying to understand whether this property are going to work, because I don't want to take a property on not knowing how much money I'm going to I'm going to get. I just want to know at least an amount that is going to make sense. Because if it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, I'm like, why are we doing it? Do you see what
Well,
I'm
how much
saying?
is this? Like, I would just, you could set a pretty low bar with,
Yeah.
because if this guy's already got them as buy to lets, then essentially you can set quite a low bar and just say like, well, profit wise, you're probably going to be making about, is it £250 a month maybe from a good buy
So
to
I've
let?
done the deal. I've done the deal analyzer. Let me share that with you.
Hmm.
Check the screen. Can you make me a host?
Yeah, no worries.
So I'm about to send this to Aaron to check it, by the way. And I'll so if I go to
Oh, I liked your review of Greatest Salesman in the World, by the way. Thought it was quite in the
oh
Discord.
yeah, did you
Yeah,
like that?
I
Oh
did.
yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
you know what? I've got so many books, and my plan is to like try and share them. So this is
Yeah.
how, right? Um, I actually paid a VA to get all this stuff done, and
Mm.
this is the reason, one of the main reasons I got into a call with you because I'm building a system that I can send to VAs to
Yeah.
find this stuff. So I want to make sure I understand what to ask them to do, right? So so basically what I did is I got all this stuff filled in by a VA
Hmm.
because I was trying a VA out anyway, right? And then I went to the competitor analysis here and I basically found properties that were very similar to ours
Yeah.
uh, that we're looking at. And this is
You
basically the 3-bed houses and the 2-bed houses because we've got
right.
8 houses there.
I'd already be crossing things out here, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Obviously, the most common thing you have are two-bedroom sleeps fours, right? I would just pick those out and use those because you don't want to compare you don't want to compare two-bed sleeps fours with sleeps fives or three-bed sixes and sevens.
The thing is like these are the ones that there isn't many two properties there that sleep 6. That's what I'm saying is like
Mhm. Well then,
I've
do
picked
two
up.
bed sleeps fours. Like as long as they are like for like, that's what matters. It doesn't need
Yeah,
to be that they're all two bed sleep sixes. It's not as if that's the only thing that will ever work.
yeah,
Two bed sleeps fours. You've got 6 of those there, so
yeah.
you've got enough for comparables. Just focus on those because otherwise your numbers are going to go up and down quite a lot.
Yeah, so what
In
I've done,
terms of
I've done two
price. So
different deal analyzers. So one would be for the 2 beds, one would be for the threes. If you see
yeah,
here, I've got 3 beds here, right?
yeah.
So I've done these, and then you've got the the 2-bed analyzer, which is basically only got a 3-bed analyzer here, right, for the cost,
Yeah.
right? So just sharing with you the cost. So we've got the competitors here. I worked out that the nightly rate is £89 per night per night. Sorry,
That's low.
the
That's good. I
hang
want to
on.
see more of those.
The nightly rate for Hull, sorry, was £96, right?
You've written
Sorry,
76 there, yeah.
96.
Right.
Right.
For the whole three beds. Yeah.
This was how much the out of the properties the what the average, sorry, the average out of the properties. And when I did the Air DNA, in fact, I'm going to show that with you now. Air
Mm.
DNA forecasted 97, so we're a pound out. So their data is quite accurate in terms of average, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So because there's a lot of in fact, I'm going to share the Air DNA data with you in a minute. But this is, for example, so I've done 3 nights. After 3 nights, guests start to pay money. So they start to pay £20 per person. And
Correct, per
that's what the
person, yeah.
competitors are doing at the moment, right? And I'm doing minimum stay 4 nights. The competitors are not doing that, but what I was planning to do for these properties, right? Drop the price. So I'm going at like, 80, I can go to £80 per night minimum, right? And I'll still make money, right?
Yeah,
You see
but
what I'm
you
saying?
want to be making £500 a month minimum at
At,
70%.
at, at a 700, right? So in that case, this will have to go, what, 85, right? 85 per night. So
Uh, still a
85.
little off. I'd still knock it up to 89.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
89.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking at like 89. So this is kind of, you know, the price at the moment. That's the rent and mortgage is that,
Yeah.
right? I still need to clarify this because there's going to be some money to set them up as well. Some of them will have to get a loan on that, on the, you know, 7 grand to set up a property or something.
Mhm.
So that might go up a little bit more. But, you know, if we are aiming at this, let's say we put this 3 nights minimum, right? So immediately that goes down 70%. So you want that to be 500, is that what you're saying?
Minimum if you're doing rent.
Yeah.
If you're doing bought, 750.
Okay. Right.
And when I say minimum, I mean ideally you want to add 250 to both the numbers I just said.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so this at the moment you're saying with one guest that will
yeah.
be okay. So
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 50%
immediate,
is 50% you've got to break even with one guest,
yeah.
and 70% has got to be if you're doing rent to minimum 500, ideally 750.
But this is not
And
rent to because this is like
so this is bought.
no,
Well
this is
then, right. So then I'd say minimum 750, ideally 1,000. If you are buying it, if
yeah,
you're
yeah. I'm
buying
not
it,
buying it. The property's already
okay.
been bought, so
How much would you? But
or
you'd
it's
be
not
renting
been
it for
bought, but
320.
it potentially is going to be bought. So this is just like for
Okay.
me to like figure out whether it's going to work or not.
Okay, so
And
when I make the difference between renting and buying it, it's about
yeah,
whether you own it or whether you rent it.
yeah,
That's when you'd start to differentiate
yeah.
the numbers.
Yeah. So at the moment, this deal still makes sense to me because I'm not putting any my own money on the deal. So that's kind of it still makes sense. If I'm splitting this profit out with him, I'm still making 200. Is not enough, to be honest, to do all that
Mm.
work. But we're going to be aiming for like more occupancy here. We're going to be aiming over here somewhere, right? 70% at like, you know, two over base, like 5 people.
Yeah, but look at it from this guy's perspective because if you're offering him SA, okay, he's going to be getting £200 a month, or he could get that exact same amount from buy to let.
Yeah, totally. But we're going to try it out. That's the whole point. So we're going to
Yeah,
try one
okay,
out
try it out. Yeah.
and see how it works. But that's kind of what I did basically. Is this how you would do it? Is this how?
Yeah. So that's the sort of thing I do. I just use Aaron's numbers because Aaron's numbers are not there to really tell you a cash flow prediction. They're more there to just tell you whether he would be in the deal or not.
Okay.
Now, if he would be in the deal or not is what's important to me because if it's good enough for Aaron, that's good enough for me. So I don't mess around with numbers at all at this stage. I just put in the rent and the mortgage and the night rate and all that sort of stuff. I just leave it after that.
Yeah. But
So
the
I would
night rate, the area was a bit higher, so it was £96. 96 was
yeah.
what the average night rate was
See,
for
that
the
makes
area.
sense now. That makes sense to do now. So I would go down that route. Going back to your competitor analysis tab,
Yeah.
I would just the one to the left of that, yeah. So I still don't think that you can have a fair. I still don't think that you can have a fair competition here as to what your three beds look like because you've got 2 7s, 2 6s, and an 8.
Mhm.
Maybe that 8 would work as a rent to holiday let. Don't quote me on
Yeah.
that, but maybe.
I think what the 8 ones is that I don't think there is much rules. I haven't checked the rules, but there's not much rules in Hull.
It
So
also says that
therefore,
there's no forward bookings on that.
this one,
Yeah.
um, yes, this one hasn't got any forwards bookings yet.
So you can't use it as you can't really use it as a
Can't use yeah as a
comparable, yeah.
yeah. I see.
Anyways, yeah, if you go back, so what I was getting at though is that because you've got enough two-bed sleeps fours, I would
Yeah,
continue on and just compare two-bed sleeps fours.
yeah.
Because you've got bedroom house, Victoria House, Marina Life, Waterfront Town Centre, Platform Avenues House. So to me, you're looking at two-bed sleeps four houses here.
Yeah,
And they are I mean, there's a little bit of with the price, but it seems to be knocking on that sort of generally
97,
90
96.
to £100 door.
Yeah,
Well, maybe 90 to 110 because you've got an 80, 100, 109, 108. And then you've got one there at 178, so I would take that one out.
Yeah.
But that would leave you with 5 still. So yeah, 108. I would, yeah, I'd be comfortable saying like 90 to 95, depending on how good your property is there. And
Yeah.
yeah, making sure that they all actually have bookings.
Yeah. So yeah, so you think this is, so I've done this correctly then in your opinion?
Take out your 2-bed sleeps 5.
Yeah.
And it's just down there. So 2-bed houses, take out the sleeps 5. Yeah. So anything in the blue is now what your comparables are. You've
Yeah.
got no forward bookings on that bottom one, so it's not a comparable.
Yeah.
So now you've got 4. Now, the fact that that has no forward bookings would suggest to me that this place has already kind of got enough SAs at 5.
Mhm.
So I maybe wouldn't go ahead with this place.
Yeah.
I would see how new it is, and just check it out a little bit more, maybe. But if there's no forward bookings, you don't want to be the person setting up there and you also be getting no forward bookings, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
according to the data, the AirDNA data, I'll just open the AirDNA actually. Can you see my
Hmm.
screen?
Yeah, yeah,
According to the data, it's saying that Hull has the market is an A market, right? So if I just go here, so there you go. It says that the whole market, right, has a 77% occupancy, right?
yeah. Okay.
And basically what this information here shows you, just quickly, is this is the whole market. So it shows you what kind of properties. So if you go to 2 bedrooms, right, it's classified 2 bedrooms, and then you go accommodates, let's say 4, right? Because we saw lots of 4s in there.
Hmm.
It it shows you like how these, it shows you the percentages on historical occupancy. So you look at, you got a 92% one on the top, which is the blue one, right? Shows you how the properties are renting, right? And you got the 50% one. So you got,
Yeah.
it shows you the market basically. So you look at May here, what was booking in for May 20, and then you got May 22. You got over here, so it's kind of gone down basically, May
Yeah.
22, and then you got August here.
So what would that tell you? Because to me, that means that the previous year's data can't be just used as an example. Because if
Yeah,
you had looked at May 20 and you'd said,
yeah,
right, well, May 21, I'm gonna make a load of money back, you'd have been dead wrong.
yeah,
So which is why I'm saying, don't start thinking about 68% occupancy this month last year.
yeah,
Just use your comparables.
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. I just want to try it out, see if this
Oh,
brings any
absolutely. Like
light to
and
understanding.
go ahead and use different softwares and things like that. But at the end of the day, you've got expensive training from Aaron, who's still in the market and
Yeah,
who has like stake in you actually doing well,
yeah, yeah,
or you've got or you've got Air DNA, which I'm not saying is a bad idea. I'm
yeah.
just saying, given the amount of money and training that you get from Aaron, I would do what he says over what Air DNA says.
Totally. I just thought it's more of a me understanding it like as
Mhm.
much as I can. I'm like, is there
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
I need to learn? And I think that you're right to say that. I'm just questioning, I'm questioning the things I'm learning. Is this the right way?
I
So
know
I want to
why you
figure.
question that, and it's because there are other people who have SAs, they've already got their properties set up and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
it's so boring to troll through Airbnb and to troll through Booking.com and just keep getting no's and keep getting deal analyzers that fail. I totally get it, but there's quite a few people who have said, like, really famous, wealthy people who have said that they are sure that boredom kills more good businesses than the thing actually flopping or the thing actually failing. It's that
Hmm.
there's a point where it just becomes a slog, like doing the deal analyzers can be. And a lot of people give up because they just think, or they go and buy somewhere that doesn't work properly and they actually end up losing money.
Yeah,
it's that boredom factor, and so I totally get it. Once in a year's time, you're going to look back and just be like, I'm glad I didn't go for Hull and I went for these other properties in these other areas
sure.
that worked.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
wouldn't I
yeah,
wouldn't have gone into Hull unless obviously this opportunity came in, and obviously I'm trying to help. You know, the whole point of
yeah, but
starting a business is you're
don't
helping
force it to
people.
work. Yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 totally. You're right. Yeah. So I guess the numbers don't look as promising, you know, as they
no,
could be. Um, so in terms of the revenue, what's they're saying here about 2 bedrooms? So this is again, I was just trying to clarify whether the data is it shows you when you go to the overview, it shows you the demand of the area, which is rental demand over here, and it says 59%. So it's definitely not a high demanding area. You can see that already there, right?
mm.
Um, and so immediately that, but it still says it's like an A market here. I don't understand why that it's
Maybe
calling
the
it an A.
seasonality,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
because it looks like October is quite a good time to for people to come. Like I'm just looking at the average daily rate thing. It looks
Yeah.
like the winter tends to be quite good
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Again, I'm just looking at that number for revenue though. Minus minus your costs, you're probably looking at knocking on that sort of £500 or £600 door that you actually profit
Yeah.
here. That you're getting close there. And if you start to, you know, miss out on bookings or you haven't quite bought the right place, I wouldn't be surprised if that starts to go well below 500.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks, man. I think that's
No, it's all right. I can show you. I can show you a couple of places that I was looking at, just so it's not all
yes. Yeah.
doom and gloom, if you like. Because
Yeah.
what I will do here.
How do I get you off the? Uh, can you make yourself back into admin or you can't?
You've got to make me a host. So go to
Okay.
participants in the bottom.
Stop. Stop share. How do I stop share? There you go.
Yeah. Go to
So
participants at the bottom and hover over my name. Click the three little dots. Oh no, wait, I can reclaim host. NBM.
okay. Yeah.
Right. 2 seconds. Where are we? Sure. See that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at Osmthorpe and Hare Hills. This is in
Yeah.
Leeds. Leeds has got 349. So what I'll do is competitor analysis first. I found these properties that were within a mile of the place that I was looking at. So remember, like I said, I made sure that I was a mile away from somewhere that was overcrowded, so that I wasn't competing with them. But I just made sure that on Rightmove there was actually a property there that I was going to look at and that I could seriously consider buying slash renting. So you go through, these are all 2 bed sleep 6 apartments. Now they didn't have to be apartments again, you know, it just so happened that they were. If they were houses, I would still compare them. But if they were 2 bed sleeps 4, I wouldn't. To me, what's important is bedrooms and people that you can get in there.
Yeah.
So the price per person tonight is pretty variable, I'll admit. But once you go onto the price analysis tab here, if you really start to get a good idea for, because quite what will happen quite often is if you go quite far into the future, people have got different prices to what they're doing now. So that's why the price analysis tab is really important.
Mm-hmm.
I always make sure to put the weekends and the weekdays like that I've actually compared in here as well. But that gave me a pretty good idea that this place should rent for 200 to 220, and then £20
Per
per
person.
person over 4 as well.
Yeah.
Just because that's what you can get from here. Okay.
Yeah.
So go over to the deal analyzer. The place I was looking at was called Clifton Grove.
Yeah.
It was actually in at 695. It's gone now, but what I do as well is I just basically there's going to be other properties in the area, so I'll start to put in higher numbers here to see what my absolute limit is. So
Mm-hmm.
at 695, this was 857 at 50% and 1500, basically 1600 at 70%.
Yeah. Wow. So
It's so this
that's
is like,
great.
yeah, this is a good area, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you want to do is to
I looked
start
at the
thinking
area
through.
in. I looked at the area and you know, I found that just from just hearing what people are saying about the area, it's not depends where. maybe. But
Yeah.
if you're, it depends whether you're near the hospital or I need to look at it again. But okay, but basically what you're saying is that there is sweet spots where you can find these little
Yeah.
places
Oh yeah,
around.
definitely.
Okay, so because my question was like, how come I haven't met anyone or found anyone in the course that's actually following? Because I'm speaking to people, and the only person that he mentions about service accommodations, well, not the only, or the few that he mentions, would be yourself, Sarah, and Graham, and Chris, right?
Yeah.
And but you guys have had your properties before you joined this course, so they may have not fitted all these
Yeah.
rules.
So
You see what I'm saying?
Graham.
So I just wanted to know someone who actually has followed these rules and got these properties, and just wanted to talk to them,
Yeah,
basically.
no, well, the SAs are probably the things that we haven't followed the rules on. I'm
Yeah,
following the rules now that I'm buying my own because
yeah,
I want to make sure that because I'm borrowing money on and because I'm doing JVs with people, I want to make
yeah,
sure that they actually meet the great numbers. Now,
yeah,
when I'm doing so that's what I'm doing for myself. Now, when we're doing the holiday lets, of course, we buy to Aaron's rules because we've only been doing large holiday lets since we've joined the course. Most
yeah.
of the SAs were in the business before Graham or Sarah came across Insight, and they would fail, to be fair, they would fail the deal analyzer if we were to buy them again, right?
Yeah.
If we were to buy them right now, they would fail the deal analyzer. That said, we already had them. They do work. A lot of them but quite a few of them we're having to refurb and stuff now to just make them a lot better and to get them above
Hmm.
the 8.0 on booking.com and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but they do work.
Hmm.
That's not to say that you shouldn't follow Aaron's rules. I'm not going to say that
Yeah.
it's a look. I just say that SA is a good
Yeah.
strategy,
Yeah.
and you can still make it work with ones that you just think might be quite good. Don't
Yeah.
take that as permission to just go and find whatever property you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so happened that the ones that we had when we joined already worked.
Yeah. 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 I
But
guess
this
it's really
table is
good
evidence.
to hear that from you, because that's
Yeah,
kind of, I don't just want to, I really want to move on and get
yeah.
a property, but just haven't seen someone actually. It's great to see that you've actually done it, and the numbers work out. And did Darren pass this one? Yeah.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
his words were that it looked strong. All the ones that I've saved, Aaron's passed, except there's one or two that I've hung on to. We've got Edge Hill, Rosebank Road, Sefton Park, this place, Hunslet. I've hung on to that because maybe it can work. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of other places there as
So
well. But
Hunslet is like, it depends really which part of it, because Hunslet and
yeah,
Riverside. So if you go to Riverside, that's really amazing, that area, but you're only going to find flats there.
yeah,
If you go down the bottom of Hunslet, it's not a very nice area, right? So there's a lot of, if you read the reviews on the area, people say, it's not the best area.
yeah.
Uh, and you've got Beeston and you've got Holbeck, which is kind of like Holbeck again. It's not rough, but it's like slightly, I don't know what the word I want to use for the area, but it's not as nice as some of the other parts of Leeds. And you got,
You'd move if you were going to have a kid.
yeah, I wouldn't be living there myself.
Yeah, yeah,
And I stayed there when I went in there. I actually stayed there. And then Armley, it's similar, but Armley is like still a little bit, it feels not as bad as some of
Hmm.
the areas
I,
in
I I tend I tend to not like again if it's all right, like if the area is all right and it's not,
it's all
you can
right.
get a pretty good feeling for these areas mostly.
Yeah.
If it's all right and I don't actually feel in danger when I'm there, I probably would go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Because as is said, you are directing a lot of your bookings towards contractors, and in terms of contractors, it's kind of just got to be good enough that their wheels aren't taken off their van overnight.
Yeah.
Except for that, they're usually at the building site or they're just in the house, which you've got to make feel cozy and safe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a really high quality area. Now, if you, for whatever reason, which is why you aim at contractors, because you don't need to make it that good. You can find the odd area that is good enough that leisure bookings you know, get you by, but they're rare. And you know, really, how many leisure bookings are you going to get in the middle of the week? You want your contractors to be your bread and butter, and the weekends to be filled by leisure bookings if you can get them.
Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. Wow, that's you've totally
Hopefully,
know,
I've saved you some time.
yeah, you've saved me a lot of time, but also you've
Yeah,
just really focused me in the that you know that these deals are out there, these areas to sign up are out there. They're not just
yeah,
hypothetical.
yeah, yeah.
It was, but my
It's tough to find them, but like I said, boredom kills so many great ideas in the
yeah,
crib.
yeah,
Don't let one of those ideas be yours. Like don't get put off
yeah,
just because it's boring,
yeah,
because so many things. But yeah, no, don't mention it at all.
yeah. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And
Don't worry.
yeah, thanks for and looking forward to seeing you again. And thanks for the great advice you've given.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll send these recordings over to you. You can do what you like with them. All right.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. If there's a need, we can share them with some people. But I think
And
it's
put them on your YouTube channel. I'll probably put them on mine.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do
Cool.
that. Thanks,
Excellent.
man.
Right. Take care of
Bye.
yourself, dude.